Okay, One Piece chapter 1138 blind reaction. I like this. I like this. So, Oda, this is all intentional. So, as I was going through and I was like, man, like he looks like Shanks. What's going on here? Oda didn't tease us. He just gave us the goods here. I can't imagine what this is like going through week by week, man. Like, oh, wow. To get the reveal that Shamrock is Shanks' twin brother. That's a big reveal. And I like how even Loki kind of points it out. This is going to cause problems. And in the same chapter, we see Luffy, and Luffy is like, nope, that's not the Shanks I know. It has to be a doppelganger. It has to be somebody that looks like him. And the dramatic irony is real because we know that Luffy's right. And even when Nami is like, you're a little too trusting, Luffy, and this is what I love about that original trio. They know each other so well. Luffy, he gets the name wrong, but he does have it. And he's like, so imagine if that was Bell. Again, like Luffy gets the name wrong, but he does remember like, hey, Nami, you got somebody that you're close to the same way I'm close to Shanks. What if you were in my shoes? And that's Luffy. He's a lot of things. He's an idiot, obviously, but he's also emotionally intelligent. Luffy gets it. Luffy gets it. And in that one moment when he said that, you can tell that it hit Nami. You can tell she's like, damn, I didn't think of it that way. Like, that's the beauty of empathy. And so I did like that a lot, but I thought Loki couldn't see because of the bandages. That's crazy. So like Loki is like, for as much as you look like him, you got to be that red-haired pirate. And the way that Shamrock just reacted, where he paused, he's got like the dots in his speech bubble. I'm like, oh shit, here it comes. And sure enough, when Gunko's like, you need to hold your tongue. And you just see it getting further and further in there to the point where you can tell that Shamrock is starting to get pissed off. I'm like, okay, they're brothers. And sure enough, that's how it goes. Because Loki's like a great pirate, Shanks, and a celestial dragon, Shamrock, standing on opposing sides of world power. The fact you have the same face is bound to draw curiosity. And in the same chapter where we find out about the three different worlds, or in this case, the three different stages of history, one obviously being a prophecy. And Shanks had that devil fruit. Shanks knew what that fruit was. Shanks knew what that fruit was. Like, that was intentional. That was intentional. Shanks. Now I need Luffy and Shanks to meet again. Like, I think I see where Oda's going with this. You got a twin of Shanks. You got Luffy with that devil fruit, that prophecy seemingly talking about how there's going to be a new sun that rises. Like, Luffy's dad is a revolutionary. I see where Oda's taking this. This is getting good. This is getting good. I am 100% locked in now. Now I'm seeing why, like, this was months ago, but like one of my patrons, I think it was Bright. It might have been Bright or IK Time or Jay Briss. One of you guys, you really need to get on One Piece now. Now I see it. Now I see it. I have questions. So sure enough, when Shamrock's talking, he's like, that's my strange twin brother. He's come back to the Holy Land before, but he enjoys the company of those low-life pirates. And what I like here is that like Loki's like, good, that just gives me all the more reason that I should kill you. And you see the mistake that he's making because he's continuing to push. And it shows that even though Zoro has never met Loki, Zoro had the right read on him. Because Loki gets information. He knows what buttons to press on. He just misread here. He misread Shamrock, unless this was intentional. But by bringing up the Shanks connection the way that he did, he pushes him. And so Shamrock's like, look, like, you're threatening me. Takes his sword, Cerberus, makes that three-headed dog, is coming through. Loki, even he says, like, I can't survive getting impaled like that. I don't think Loki's done, but as Gunko and Shamrock are flying out, they talk about the fact that they need to get to the children of Elbaf, the warriors' kids. So this is kind of like, and like the snow reminds me a little bit, but kind of reminds me of Punk Hazard, like with the kids. So this is, I'm curious. Are they going to make a play for those children that don't know anything about war? Because you can't force the adults to serve, but you can use the children as leverage, either to make the adults bend the knee, or you start grooming the kids. It's one or the other. And I do like how we do find out, again, one of them has a half-human child. This is good. And now that, like, we know that there are different, factions in terms of giants, etc., this is good. I think I see how Oda is trying to flip this. Now, to shift things over, I did like how, like, when Luffy is made aware of Shamrock, and they don't know that it's Shamrock, but they are told, like, this guy has been here before, and Luffy's like, well, of course, Shanks was here. He's going off what Loki told him. And with Zoro and with Nami, they're looking at it a little bit more objectively, and that's kind of their job, to protect Luffy from Luffy. But again, when Luffy kind of brings up what if this was Bell? You do see that Zoro and Nami are considering that possibility. And even Luffy, as he's talking, he's like, it could be a brother. But he's like, I've never heard Shanks talk about his family. And it just makes sense. If you're Shanks, that's the one thing you don't want out there, that you are the child of a celestial dragon. You don't want that out there, especially as a pirate. So it does make sense, but it does make me wonder. And not even wonder, I think that Roger and Rayleigh and them did know. There's no way they didn't know. But it does make me wonder, is that why Shanks was not allowed to go to Laugh Tale to see what the One Piece was? Was that their way of protecting Shanks? There has to be another reason why Shanks is going. It's almost as if, like, Shanks is, like, kind of plotting, like, I'm going to take all these MFers down. Like, I'm kind of at that point. I've been there for a minute, but now the motivation is starting to get clear. And so when we shift over and we start seeing more information about this tree being as rare as it is, and we see why it's held in such high esteem, and we get the moment where, like, Shanks is like, not Shanks, but Frankie is told, Frankie's telling her, like, hey, the tree is valuable across the sea because of the different wood and etc. And what I like here is, like, Frankie's told there are markings drawn in here by the children, and it's the history. And when Frankie puts the map together, and he's like, so this will be the Void Century. He's like, we got to show this to Nico Robin. But what we're seeing here too is that Nico Robin is learning the very history itself. As Frankie and Ripley are having their conversation, Nico Robin is being told the same thing, but we see two different interpretations, because with Ripley, Ripley's like, this is nothing more than a child's dream. And then we transition over and we see Ripley's child. We see the different children. We know what is coming. We happen to see Nico Robin getting the information, reading the books. Saul looks over those kids. There's a convergence coming. There's a convergence. Now, the only question I have now is, what does Shamrock do when he bumps into Nico Robin? Like that's the next question. Because that school has all those writings from O'Hara and with Professor Clover and etc. It would be a shame if that stuff was destroyed. I kind of feel like that's where Oda's going. I think there might be a subversion. I think that Luffy and them might be able to stop Shamrock and them from destroying that text. But basically, as Saul is allowing Nico Robin to read everything, Nico Robin talks about the first world, and so she's narrating, but then we get Frankie seeing everything. And this is what's fascinating, because this is why I'm like, okay, it's got to be a prophecy, because it's the past in the first one, the ancient past, the distant past, and then the future. The first world, it says, within the earth, there was fire. Mankind was focused on greed. It was touched by the forbidden sun. Those who were enslaved, they prayed to Nika, the sun god. He appeared, and there was all this fire. So all the war was taking place. But then in the second one, that's the void century. That has to be, because it talks about how there was the sea god stormed, and how they never met. That's got to be that giant flood that took place. There's got to be a giant flood. And in the third world, it says within the chaos, there was emptiness, inconvenient remnants, recall the promised day, and hear the voice of the half moon. That's important simply for the fact that, again, there are people like Nico Robin's people who are seeking the truth. There are people like Luffy's dad who are trying to bring about revolution. And when you have that text there saying that the sun returns and brings about a new morning, they will surely meet. It goes from, and they will never meet, and they will never meet, to they will surely meet. Basically, Luffy has a chance to either be a harbinger of death or a harbinger of change. And what I like about this is that when you look at the imagery, Frankie's looking, and he's right there in the middle, which means that there's a decision, there's a path to walk. Destruction, change, chaos, order. And you just happen to have Luffy, the brilliant idiot, who's there, who can make that decision. This is good. This is good. This has a lot of potential. This has a lot of potential here by Oda. I was already interested. Now I'm fascinated. Now I am fascinated. I gotta scrounge up some money to get some more thumbnails, because like as of where I'm at right now, I think I'm about 30 chapters behind. I gotta see where this is going. I gotta see where this is going. This is good. So my chapter question to you guys, because I'm shaking right now. Like I'm literally, this is one of those chapters where Oda got me. So my chapter question to you guys is, how do you feel when you found out that Shanks had a twin? And you saw Luffy's loyalty. Were you like me? Were you looking forward to Luffy and Shamrock meeting and Luffy learning about this part of Shanks' history? I think Luffy's still going to stick up for Shanks, but man, this is good, man. But so always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.